what is at the root of our toxic behavior?
The root, I think, one of the main things is trauma. We don't, it's with relationships, there are a lot of things. If you got unresolved trauma, if you got mommy, daddy issues, if you had issues as a child, whatever issues, they're gonna come out in that relationship in different ways. You may not know immediately, but they're gonna express themselves in the relationship with how you respond to people, how you deal with people. Sometimes if if you had a void from your childhood, these are things that are gonna express themselves in the relationship that you're gonna yearn for in that relationship, whether knowingly or unknowingly. So I think that's a big part of, our issues. One, family trauma, but two, just trauma of being black in America. Like there are things that are unique to our experience that are not, that we find similarities in other cultures, and there are things that are unique to the black experience that we have to acknowledge. And if we don't understand ourselves, first, individually, but as a unit, like man and woman, if we don't understand ourselves in that context, then I think we're doing ourselves a disservice.
Yeah, but I think that's why we need each other. So going back to
Facts.
trauma, I know everyone experienced some form of trauma, but for black people, we experienced a lot of trauma. Like we're born into toxic stress, and oftentimes when it comes to the relationship, it's either some type of survival love where they're just surviving, they're just trying to do the best they can, or they really vibe with each other, they really love each other, trying to build that family. And I think that's where it's coming from. We see a lot of bad relationships, and we just see them trying their best to maintain and survive. So I think that's where it comes from, a lot of the toxic relationships. But I agree with you. A lot of these unresolved things will show up if you don't know how to address them. And I know a lot of people don't know how to address their trauma. It takes sometimes going to a mental health professional, or it takes a partner that is patient with you, and then helping you be comfortable in being vulnerable and being transparent about your situations, and in some relationships, some people don't want to deal with trauma.
Right.
Like they don't want to deal with it at all. And I think that shouldn't happen in the black community. We have so much going on. Like you should want to help your partner when they're down and they're low. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where a lot of the toxic behaviors come from. We have a lot of triggers. We don't know how to deal with it.
When you talked about vulnerability, like being comfortable with being vulnerable. Like,
that's the issue.
Men, we do it a lot where we want to impress women, or we want to live up to the idea that she has of us. And women the same, but I think the vulnerability, like being comfortable with expressing ourselves without being ridiculed or judged, and I think that's something that we have to grow towards, like as a collective.